Four Daughters, which is a strange blend of documentary and drama from Tunisian filmmaker Kaouther Ben Hania, who made Beauty and the Dogs and The Man Who Sold His Skin. The latter of those was, I think, nominated for Best International Feature. This is nominated for Best Documentary at the forthcoming Oscars. Let me just check that I am right on that. Yes, it is nominated for Best Documentary at the forthcoming Oscars, which is happening very soon, and we've got a very special podcast coming up about that, haven't we? I'm just throwing ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Look out for things dropping.
Okay. It's a French...
But not Sarah Ram's testicles.
Sarah Ram's testicles.
I don't mean that kind of drop. I mean a pod drop.
So this is a French, Tunisian, German, Saudi Arabian co-production, won a César for Best Doc, originally known as Olfa's Daughters. We meet Olfa, who's a Tunisian mother of four daughters, and we learn that at some point, two of those daughters, the older two, disappeared. The film doesn't initially tell us how, but... many will know the news story of Olfa Hamrouni, which made headlines in 2016 when she spoke out against the Tunisian authorities for not preventing the radicalization by Daesh of her two daughters. So although the film withholds this information at the beginning, if you're going to see the film, the chances are you probably know something about the story. I should say that I didn't, because I went into it not knowing what it was at all, and then I realized that I had read about this. So the filmmaker asks the family to tell their story, and she brings in actresses to fill the spaces in that story. So there is a combination of drama and documentary. We're going to play a clip. Obviously, the clip is subtitled, and afterwards I'll tell you what was said in the clip because it is relevant to the rest of the review. Have a look.
ألفا عندها 4 بنات، الجوز الصغار آية وتيسير مازالوا عايشين معاها، والجوز الكبار رحمة وغفران كليهم الذيب. وزادة باش تتعرفوا على الجوز ممثلات اللي باش يمثلوا أخواتكم الكبار.
اما فما ممثله باش تعوضك وقت اللي انت شي حوايج صعب عليك تنجمش تعملها.
هذا هو الجانب الخايب في الفيلم، نداو نبرشوا في الجروح نتاعنا.
Action.
So essentially, just to recap, and you saw that with the subtitles. So what we hear in that trailer is that they are going to bring in two actresses to play the two daughters who we're told have disappeared.
And it's how they describe it is devoured by the wolf.
Devoured by the wolf. And we are also told that Olfa, the mother, she will play herself, but there will also be an actress who is brought in to play her during scenes which are too disturbing. So it's a very intriguing setup. And what then happens is that the story is told of this family, and we see the two actors working from photographs and recollections and the stories that are told by the rest of the family in order to, as I said, fill the absences in that space. We see a dramatization of Olfa's loveless marriage, actually very, very oddly amusing recreation of her wedding night, in which she's not having anything of the husband at all. And there's this whole thing about there having to be a bloodied sheet, in order to prove that the marriage has been consummated. And she arrives at the bloodied sheet by punching him in the mouth. So she's a force to be reckoned with. We hear about another partner. We hear about his abusive relationship with the family. We see the two remaining daughters, who are really clearly intelligent, free-thinking, smart, very, very imposing people, recollecting how much they loved their sisters and how their sisters became radicalized. And we see reconstructions of an encounter with the police in which, the police are told, look, these people are being radicalized. You have to do something about it. And the police basically said, well, we can't do anything about it. So on the one hand, it's a kind of heartbreaking story of families being torn apart by hardline religious dogma. And incidentally, I should say that obviously the dogma here is, Daesh Islamic State dogma. I saw this, weirdly enough, pretty much back to back with another thing that I saw about the lunatic, actually, weirdly enough, it was the Jon Stewart thing that you were talking about, in which there was that clip of the lunatic Christian nationalist doing we want to bring about Armageddon and the blood will flow right up to the bridles of the horses.
I love that hardcore dogma.
Yeah, and it's so, let's be honest, hardcore religious lunatic dogma in any form whatsoever. A belief in a specific knowledge of God is a terrible thing, sir, a terrible thing indeed. And the form is unsettling because you watch it thinking, okay, which bits are dramatized, which bits are... There's one moment when they're in a certain scene and an actor says, I need to stop, we need to have a discussion about this. What, here? No, off camera. And you're thinking, is that actually real, or is that... I was thinking of the work of people like, there was that... Well, there's several documentary makers who've brought in drama, which means you're constantly questioning. But I was wondering, what is the role of the dramatization? And I think, I may not be right, this is what I think. I think it's to do with the idea that people are always playing roles. They're portraying characters. They're getting into character. They are becoming things, because one of the things this is about people becoming somebody else as a result of a kind of indoctrination. And I was also thinking of, if you compare this to, for example, Joshua Oppenheimer's brilliant documentary, The Act of Killing, in which the whole act of restaging trauma, actually acting it out, dramatizing trauma, somehow proves the key to unlocking it. The two daughters who are with Olfa are remarkable company. I mean, really, really remarkable company. I would almost say watch the documentary, because a couple of hours spent in their company is worth the price of admission. But this is a very adventurous and I think very ambitious. It doesn't all work, but even when it doesn't work, the uncertainty is, I think, is really important. And you do come out of it asking questions about how these dynamics worked, and how it is that people's minds can be poisoned by such clearly pernicious extremist dogma.
And it's called Four Daughters.
Called Four Daughters. Okay. I said the original title when it was originally released was Olfa's Daughters, but here it is Four Daughters, and it's up for Best Documentary at the Oscars, which are a week on Sunday.
Very soon.
Yeah.